Shalom uvracha, everyone. This week's parsha continues with the story of Yosef and his brothers. The story is coming to its crescendo. Yosef had told them that he's going to keep Benjamin as a slave. He tells them, you are free to go back to your father, but your brother Benjamin is stuck here with me. And Yehuda, by this week's parsha, has had enough. And it says, Vayigash elav Yehuda. Judah approaches Joseph and he says, I'm sorry, sir. This is not happening. He says, either I'm going to stay as a slave instead of him, I'm stronger than him, I'm better than him, or we'll just fight you. And Joseph got scared because he knew his brothers were serious, he knew his brothers were dangerous, and they could literally probably destroy all of Egypt. And Joseph finally breaks up, he gives in, and he calls everyone out of the room besides his brother, and he reveals himself to them, and he's crying. And they were so shocked. They thought he would be angry at them. They thought he hadn't forgiven them. And he says, no, I love you. I've forgiven you. It's not you who sent me here. It was God who sent me here. God knew that the famine was coming to the land. And that's why he sent me here to save the family. And also, God had promised to Abraham a long time ago that we would go to Egypt, his offspring, Abraham's offspring, and Hashem said to him, they will go with rechush gadol, with a great wealth. And how did Hashem make this great wealth happen? By having the famine, by having everyone having to come to Egypt from across the world and buy food during those years of famine and bring all of the wealth of the world to Egypt, which afterwards we were able to leave with. This also had to do with the concept of the spiritual sparks which were in Egypt. This concept of Joseph and Judah meeting each other and approaching each other is also the concept of the two worlds, the higher world and the lower world, joining. And that's why this was such a big deal, and that's why Hashem made this happen. It was a big deal. It needed to happen spiritually. It was a joining. And it also showed that Judah obviously felt terrible for what he'd done, and he wasn't about to let such a thing happen again, even up to the point where he was willing to give his life away for the safety of his brother Benjamin. This also teaches us how far we have to go for the well-being of our children. We really have to sacrifice ourselves to make sure they're in the good things and doing the right things. Especially nowadays, kids are having a really tough time. So we really have to literally stick our neck out for our kids and do our best to keep them on the right path. As Shlomo HaMelech says, Chosech et shifto soneh et beno, the one who holds back the rod hates his son. He's not saying we have to beat our children, God forbid, but he's saying sometimes we have to be tough and show tough love and put our foot down when we know that we're right and we're doing this for our children's well-being. We know we're the parents and we love them, and eventually the kids know. They come around, even if they're upset, they come around and know that when we're doing it for their well-being, they know what's right. Even though their Yetzer Hara, their evil inclination may want something, but they know it's wrong, they come around because they know the truth. We all know the truth. So Shabbat Shalom. May we be blessed with truth and success with our families and children, and much love always. Thank you for everything. Chazak Baruch.